Hi guys, in today's lesson we will be learning about percent proportion. This is your topic. And the learning target for today is being able to find missing values using percent proportions. All right, I'm going to abbreviate. Okay, so what is a percent proportion? In a percent proportion, one ratio compares a part of a quantity to the whole quantity, and the other ratio shows the equivalent percent written as a fraction over 100. What does that mean? It means you're going to have two fractions. You will be comparing part of something to whole of something, and then in the second ratio you will be comparing percent to 100%, the total percent. When you're solving percent proportion problems, you would need to start off with the general percent proportion formula, and I'll show it to you down below. You're going to substitute the given values into that proportion, and you're going to cross multiply to find the missing value. Go ahead and pause the video so you can copy down the steps before moving forward, and resume me when you are ready. All right. So the general form of percent proportion, we call it is of percent of 100. Is of percent over 100, where is represents a part, of represents a whole number. The percent on the top also represents part percent, and the 100% on the bottom represents whole percentage. Okay, and there's actually going to be an equal sign in between these two ratios because the relationships are proportional. You always want to ask yourself what is missing. Is it is missing, of missing, or percent missing? I'm going to show you how to answer those questions, and what I'm going to do is I go through the problems. I'm going to circle numbers that represent is. I'm going to box numbers that represent of in that formula, and then, well, how about we underline with a scribble line our percentages. So my first example, 12 is what percent of 80? So 12 is, I'm going to circle that because that's my is number. What percent? Clearly percent is missing of 80. See how it goes all together, all stays together in one order? Okay, that should be relatively easy. So I know that I need to place is on the top of the first ratio, off on the bottom of the first ratio, equal, put percent over 100%. So let's see, 12 is, 80 is off, so 12 over 80 equal, percent is missing, so I'm going to use X for that missing percent so we can find it over 100. So I have is of percent over 100. Now we're going to cross multiply. 80x is 12 times 100. 80x equals 1200. Divide both parts by 80, and x is equal to, let's put it right here, x is equal to 15. Okay, and that's 15% because that's what was missing. We were using x to hold the place for that percentage. So now check to see if the answer makes sense. So they're telling us that 12 is a portion of 80. So the percentage that will be related to 12 it's got to be smaller than 100. That's what I'm trying to see, and it really is. So we're ready to move on. Next one, what percent of 90 is 72? Again, your numbers and your words will go in order, so they all will stay together. So what percent? Okay, so I know now that percentage is missing of 90. So my off is 90 is 72. So now I have my parts. I'm going to substitute them in proportion. So I have 72 of 90 is what percent out of 100? So I'm going to replace my percent sign with x and solve it using cross multiplication. Okay, so 90 times x is equal to 72 times 100. 90x is equal to 72 hundredths. I have to divide both sides by 90 to isolate my variable, and x is equal to 80%. Again, 72 is part of 90, so the percent that we find has to be part of 100, and it has to be smaller. So 80% is smaller than 100, so yes, we got the right answer. Moving on. What is 70% of 150? So in this case, we have 70% and we have off 150 and we're missing is. And I can clearly see that is missing because they're asking what is. So let's see, now my x will be at the top of my first ratio over 150 equals 70% over 100%. Both of these numbers in the second ratio are percents. Okay, I'm going to use cross product to solve. 100x is equal to 150 times 70. 100x is equal to 10,500. Divide both sides by 100. And x is 105. Okay. X is 105. So here's my answer. So let's see if our answer makes sense. We know that 150 was the total and the part has to be smaller than the total. 105 is smaller than 150, so we're good to go. Next one, we're going to find 95%. Again, we have a percent of 140. I'm going to box that. They're not telling you, there's no is in the sentence, but now it's clearly is missing because everything else is given to us. So x over 140 equals 95% over 100%. Cross product. I have 100x equals to 140 times 95. 100x is 13,300, and all there's left to do is to divide it by 100, and x is 133. Let's see, 133 was part, so part has to be less than the whole, and it is. Example number 5. 6 is 5% of what number? So 5% is my percentage. 6 is, sorry, it was supposed to be circle. 6 is, this is my part, of what? Of what is missing? So 6 over x equal 5% over 100%. Let's cross multiply. 5x is 6 times 100. 5x is 600. Divide by 5. We have, oops, we have 120. X is equal to 120. Again, let's see what was missing. We had a part, so whole was missing. Whole has to be bigger than the part, and it sure is. 77% of what number is 100.1? We have a percentage of what missing is 100.1. Careful with those decimals so they don't lose them. We have our part 100.1 over x, 77% over 100. Okay, I'm gonna do my cross product. 77x 100 times 100.1. Be careful with that decimal again, just so we don't lose it. This is 10,010 divided by 77, and x is 130. I'm going to write it down right here. X is 130. Okay, so the whole again is greater than our part, so we are good to go. So I show you examples of two examples of each when the percent was missing. So we were looking for percent in this one. Let me erase so it's clear, easier to see. So percent was missing here, is was missing, and in the last set of examples, off was missing. Okay, go ahead and work out problem number 7, 8, 9, and 10 by yourself. Raise your hand when you're done so your teacher can check your work.